Thank you, Madam Chair, and let me congratulate the rapporteur on his report and draft resolution. I'm going to speak to one aspect of the report and resolution dealing with media freedom. It's interesting that yesterday in the plenary we adopted two supplementary resolutions that I think are very relevant to media freedom, and that is protecting the civil societies and their participation in our community and combating corruption. Both are critically important to media freedom. The report talks about the persecution of journalists and activists, which is consistent with decision number 3 at the recent ministerial meeting in Milan. The report spells out specifically the tragic and horrific death of Jamal Khashoggi, the Saudi journalist who was a U.S. resident. I have joined with other parliamentarians to hold those responsible for the Khashoggi death fully accountable for their actions, including the imposition of Magnitsky sanctions. The rapporteur talks about 80 deaths in total that have occurred. I would like to point out 5 occurred in my state, in Maryland. 5 journalists were killed a year ago defending freedom of the press. So this is an issue that affects every one of our states, the safety of journalists. I've introduced bipartisan legislation to establish a memorial to fallen journalists in the National Mall in Washington, D.C. The protection of journalists extends beyond violence to other ways that government and non-state actors use to intimidate or silence media, such as incarceration, lawsuits, and threatening language, much of which targets women journalists. All of these constitute actions which seeks to muzzle a free and unfettered press and cannot be tolerated. The rapporteur report points out the imprisonment of journalists, citing Turkey as an example of a country that is doing injustice to journalists. It talks about repression of journalists, citing Hungary. Prior to coming to Luxembourg, I had the opportunity with part of our delegation to visit Budapest, and we met with journalists where the government has effectively tried to silence their voice as an independent media and diverse media within that country. That needs to change. We also take this moment to commend the Office of the OSCE Representative on Freedom of the Media and the critical work it does to shine light on cases of abuse, intimidation, and assault of the media. That's spelled out very well in the report, and again, I applaud the rapporteur for that. Madam Chair, let us speak with a united and strong voice against any government interference with a free media.
Thank you.